Hey poetry students, I'm here with a video to walk you through the Polished Poem 3 rubric as well as the instructions for it to show you where that's at so that then you'll be able to do the quiz and all the other stuff that's associated with it. So I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can walk through it together. So when we get in here, you'll be able to access this in a couple places, but the main place will still be within the major assignments. I don't want to change too much on you. So it'll be underneath the major assignments right here. So as we look in this section, let me actually switch into Studio for a moment. My apologies. All right. So as we scroll through that, you'll see that we have the assignments right here. We have the submission right here. We have the meta essay as well. So if we click on this, you can access the instructions right here if you'd like. But if you click in here, the instructions are also there. So I'll click in there. When we download that assignment, you will see a Microsoft Word document pop up, popped over onto my other screen here. So essentially 10% of your grade. We have a specific due date for it. It's very similar to the other types of or other poems that we've written throughout the semester in terms of the polished poems. Couple things that are different. One, we're doing a different type of poem, meaning you have a choice between essentially three types of poems, one being the catalog list type poem, the limerick, or the haiku. So we're going to focus on those three types at this point. Um, and then step-by-step process when we're looking through here, you'll choose one of those types of poems above, you'll create an original poem, then you will submit a draft to Moodle versus that of the workshop. So the main difference between this poem and the first two is that we won't have workshops associated with it. And really for our second poem, we didn't have workshops because we switched into online learning. So it's going to be very similar to what we did with second poem, but instead you're just going to submit it to an actual submission instead of a workshop, okay? Or instead of a workshop forum. So I'll cover that as we get closer to the due date for it. So you'll revise that poem, you'll turn in a hard copy of it if we're back in classes at that point in terms of face-to-face meetings. So the notes on it in terms of what you can do, it can be about any subject, any theme, any topic. And as we look through a couple things you want to remember, it's going to follow the standard format that we followed all along for our poem. So it needs to be between 10 lines up to 2 pages, in between there somewhere. You should have a heading, which is double spaced. You should have a header on the page. You should give your poem a title that'll be organized like it says up here. Your poem should really be left aligned unless you have a reason for doing otherwise. And in that case, you would want to suggest in your meta essay. So that's essentially the prompt. Let's look at when this comes due. So for us, this comes due on Wednesday, the 15th. And so that is actually directly after spring break for us. So the Wednesday after spring break. And I have it set at 2:20, and that is for if we are back in in-person classes at that point. If we're not, then it'll probably be switched to 11:59, and you'll submit it just on Moodle. The rubric is the same rubric that we followed for poem 1 and for poem 2. Okay, except for the techniques associated with catalog as well as haikus and limericks are one of those skills associated with the rubric. So the rubric is right here. The meta essay, click back for a moment, is also listed right here. The meta essays are largely the same as you've been working on throughout the semester. At this point, you'll basically be in a rhythm moving through these because you'll have done it for poem 2, and then you'll have done it for poem 3 for this assignment right here. So you can access that, and you can see that this comes due same date, same time as the actual poem 3, the polished poem 3. All right, so please let me know if you have any questions. If you do, I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But our third poem will be the one for our Unit 3 and will ultimately come due for us after spring break. Okay, guys, thanks. Stay brilliant.